Okay. Okay, great. So now let's go into phase number 4, which in my opinion, this is the most harmful phase, which is what you call like needing. So
Hmm.
this is when they target the victim's compassion and like empathy,
Hmm.
right? And this is not good because like now, this will break the victim's like, self-esteem and their ability to set boundaries, which makes them extremely, like vulnerable. So how do they target their victim's compassion and empathy?
Okay, so I call them issues of or emotional issues of at closed door, right? When you
Hmm.
close the door, they are already in. Probably they are already married, right? So when you close the door, then they see you naked. Hmm. And when somebody sees you naked, starts noticing that they are not as perfect as they thought, right? So they need to play victim because internally narcissists think they are victims. Some people would argue that they were victims because they were used as objects as well, that they were not seen as whole, complete people, right? So they play the victim role, and then the other person, obviously wants to fix them or wants to love them and wants to compensate for whatever they didn't have, or like that's when they show some of their lacks, right? So
Hmm.
if they chose well, which they normally find these nice people because they have emotional needs, right? These people are going to have compassion for them because like we should have compassion for everyone, right? And I believe that narcissists are not, I said, monsters. They are also victims and they also suffer, and they probably were victimized. So again, it's not 100% a strategy, is that when you close the door, people will see you more deeply and they will see their wounds. And they have wounds that the other person, I mean, if they are in, because now at this point they are in the relationship, they will see it with compassion and they will try to take care of them.
Hmm. Okay, so is there any way a person can figure out whether or not, the narcissist is targeting their empathy, or is this again just another hard game to figure out and you just have to kind of feel it out as time goes on?
So if you read everywhere the
Mm.
opinion of people that were in a relationship with narcissists, they normally are already in the point of deep hurt, right? Because they didn't know until the damage started to
Yeah.
be actually targeted against them. It's not against them because again the narcissist is not attacking, is just looking, oh, I need to move on, I need somebody else, this person is not making me feel as good, or this person discovered me, so now is my enemy because they can expose me, so I need to get rid of that person, right? So when people talk about narcissists are when they are already hurt, which means it's not easy to discover that you
Mm.
are with a narcissist because you fell in love,
Yeah.
right? You fell in love. You opened the door wide open to your heart, to your vulnerabilities. Oh, you are vulnerable with me. I'm going to be vulnerable with you, which in a way gives them closeness. But since they, at any point, and I'm going to explain something of neurobiology right now,
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
any point can disconnect from that connection, from that closeness. In that moment, they are strangers almost, right? And that's a surprise of many people. So my theory, so Dan Siegel has this the hand model of the brain. He
Mm.
says that this is the brain stem, which is the primitive brain or the most basic, and then the limbic system is the one that is memories and emotions, and then is the cortex, and then is the prefrontal cortex that touches everything inside, and this is what makes us more human than any other, right? And this brain, when you have emotional issues, can be so. Danziger says that it flips up. What I have found is that it disconnects sometimes in certain level, but not completely. Like if he's completely disconnected, you have a sociopath, let's say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you have a narcissist, the narcissist has contact sometimes and sometimes disconnects. And so like when they are trying to be liked, probably it's from connection. And then when they have you, then they disconnect. Why they disconnect? Because they have also learned that in order to have their needs met, they need to not to fall for all those tricks of love and things like. They need to have freedom. They are cheaters. They are unreliable. They are unaccountable, right? They won't recognize what they do. They do the manipulation. They do the gaslighting. They are never going to confess they do it knowingly, right? Like consciously.
Yeah.
So they need to disconnect in order to continue being strong when they are doing those things, right? And then at some point, especially closed door, they reconnect again. And the person feels them sincerely in love, sincerely apologetic, even. Sometimes they
Yeah.
sincerely apologize. I heard, I saw it, they cried, they used the right words, and then the day after they disconnect again and they become this manipulative person again.
So is there any way to like fix that, or is it like, because like if because when you read about this subject, like people say that a lot, right? Like they like sometimes they know what they're doing is wrong, but then the next day it's like they do the exact same thing again. So
Mhm.
like what happened? Like how do you fix that?
Helping them stay connected all the time, realize why they disconnect, and all the strategies that they had to develop in order to survive their environment, and understanding, well, creating empathy and understanding that they are hurting other people, and helping them stay connected. So this is a lot of prefrontal work. Like you have to build muscle in the prefrontal,
Yeah.
and understanding with right brain to right brain, the people call it, but with consciousness. I think that when you connect, you have not only more reflective capacities, but you are also able to feel the other, to care about the other, to have
Yeah.
compassion, to have generosity, to have love for the other person. So if you stay connected for longer, then the spark comes and the person realizes that yes, the other strategies are hurtful for them too, and then they stay connected. So everything is fixable. Takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, but it's fixable.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty interesting to hear because like you probably know, like, because when it comes to this subject, many people say that you can't fix it, right? Because of that problem, right? They know what they're doing, but then they do the exact same thing again, like 2 days later. But you're saying it can be fixable, which is really, really interesting.
Mhm.
So if you wanted, so basically to stay connected, right? Like, do you have to do work with a specialist, or can you do that on your own? Specialist. That's
Yes,
the only way.
you will never recognize
Yeah.
until you find somebody that hears you, listens, sees you, and doesn't judge you. You know,
Huh. Got it.
and it's only a therapist. Like everybody else will judge
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
because you are doing things that are not accepted and not admissible in society. So a therapist is the one that you can finally open up and say, yeah, there is a place where I feel bad about what I'm doing, and then
Mhm.
you get the help. But it yeah, it's needs to be professional.
Consistent work.
Yeah,
Okay.
they don't
Uh,
like it. That's the
yeah.
thing, is narcissists don't go to therapy.
Yeah, it's hard because like it's like you have to look at yourself, right? You have to look at all the flaws that you have, which obviously is really difficult because like for the entire, like for their lifetime, they've been hiding that because like they
Right.
don't want to, confront it, so it becomes a problem. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, now you also mentioned that for a person to figure out that they're in this kind of like a relationship, it takes time, and that's kind of the only way to figure out, right? So on average, like how long does it normally take? I mean, I'm not sure if there's a number, but have you noticed like a normal timeline? How long does it normally take for a person to figure out, okay, this relationship is toxic?
For the other person.
Yeah,
Uh,
for the target.
Normally, when it's hurtful. Normally, when
Mm,
you have to realize I don't matter to this person. This person will do things that hurt me without any type of care or consideration for my feelings. That's when people say, "Oh, I think this person is a narcissist."
okay, there we
Or
go.
there
So
is
it's like an
something
emotional
wrong with
point.
this
Yeah,
person. Yeah.
it's like an emotional point. Okay. Okay, so I guess yeah, I guess when they show a lack in their ability to like understand the victim, that's when it becomes a real problem, right? And then you can kind of figure it out from there.
Understand that, yes, understand that that is affecting, and that everything you have tried and that they
Hmm.
have promised, they fail.
They failed. Okay.
They fail. They don't. They not. They just don't. Right when they
Yeah.
stop. When they don't accept, because the gaslighting, that was, it has become so famous. The gaslighting really debilitates your psyche. Really makes you believe that there is something wrong with you. That's the issue. Gaslighting is very dangerous in terms of
Yeah.
how the mind changes. Oh, I did something wrong. Oh, I don't understand him or
Yeah.
her. Oh, I am not a good partner. All that stuff, that debilitates the person.
Hmm.
So not until they are really hurt is that they say, really, this person did it on purpose, right? So I'm not crazy, so I'm not a bad spouse or whatever. Yes, and that is normally when probably they are already ch- changing partners,
Yeah. Yeah.
going into the next one, right? Or they start leaving the partner behind some way or another because they are not as useful as they were at some point,
Okay.
right? And when the partner is not useful, they start this card phase, and that's when the person starts getting like very disoriented.
Yeah. So that's phase number 5, right? When they slowly start to like leave the relationship, but they're making their partner feel like they're the main issue with their relationship, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, so you mentioned gaslighting. So can you just tell people like what exactly that really means and like how the narcissist gaslights? Like what do they say? What do they, look for? And are there like any other strategies that are used to make the victim feel like they're the problem?
Well, is blaming them, is projecting into them, oh, you are envious, or you didn't, or you don't,
Okay.
nobody likes you. You see, nobody likes you because you are X, Y, or Z. Or they start making the other person believe that is their fault, right? So it
Yeah.
depends on, it's not a specific phrases. Some people list phrases. It's the intention.
Yeah.
A very smart person, a Machiavellic narcissist, will debilitate you with undetectable phrases. Like, you will never believe that that phrase had the purpose of debilitate you.
Hmm.
It depends on
Yeah.
the level of sophistication of the person, or the type of, or the weaknesses of the other. The yes, of the other is what they are going to use um, to debilitate the other person's mind.
Yeah, so that ties back into phase number 4, right? Where they're looking for people who have high levels of like compassion. Because when you have empathy and when someone tells you, "Hey, you're hurting me," you're like, "Oh man, like is it me? Like am I doing something wrong?" Right? So now you start to doubt yourself. And I guess yeah, so it seems like, having high levels of compassion and like empathy is a really really important thing when it comes down to a victim, right? Cuz that's what makes it easy to like trick the person.
Especially
Yeah.
compassion. Yeah,
Compassion. Okay.
especially. Yeah. Mhm.
Got it.